What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here at the world-exclusive first video tour of the unreleased BlackBerry Torch 2, running RIM's new OS 7. Let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to thank the folks at Negri Electronics for hooking us up with this model. When the Torch 1 was released, it looked to be a perfect marriage of BlackBerry devices. It had that touchscreen and modern multi-touch browser users have been clamoring for, coupled with that bold style keyboard that the RIM faithful loved. However, outdated specs and an underwhelming screen means the Torch didn't set the world on fire. RIM is hoping the Torch 2 is going to rectify that. So from a mere aesthetic standpoint, the Torch 2 looks almost identical to the Torch 1. It's got the same 3.2-inch diagonally size screen. It's got the same 4 buttons across the bottom. You've got the optical trackpad, which can be selected, so it's actually a 5-way navigation. However, the big differences here are really under the hood. Let's start with what you're going to be looking at, and that is the screen. As I mentioned, the same 3.2-inch size. However, the resolution has been upped significantly. We are now looking at a 640 by 480 resolution screen, as opposed to 360 by 480 on the previous generation Torch. It's got a 1.2 gigahertz processor, making it almost twice as fast, at least from a clock speed, of the 624 megahertz processor found in the Torch 1. 8 gigabytes of internal storage, expandable with micro SD. This particular model has support for AT&T's 3G, but not support for their HSPA+. And that may change by the time this gets released, and we're hearing early summer timeframe. There may be a T-Mobile version. This particular pre-release hardware, though, has support for AT&T's 3G bands. The first Torch, of course, was released on AT&T, so it's presumed that the carrier will see this model as well. So let's start with one of the key OS 7 features that BlackBerry announced at BlackBerry World, and that was the voice-activated universal search. In the upper right-hand corner, you've got that familiar universal search icon. If you go ahead and click it, now I've got a microphone there to the right. If you select it, voice-enabled universal search is unavailable. So this pre-release hardware, or maybe the software built on here, doesn't support it. The keyboard, though, you can see is the same as the initial BlackBerry Torch, or the original, rather, BlackBerry Torch. The screen here is absolutely beautiful. One of my knocks I had on the initial Torch was the screen looked really, really washed out. Not the case here with the Torch 2. Let me go ahead and show you. I'm going to go ahead and launch the gallery and show you some images that we have here. You can see some of the applications as well that the Torch 2 will presumably launch with. So let's go ahead and run into media. Go ahead and go into pictures. You can see some of the wallpapers that are here. And this might not do it justice translating from the camera to online to streaming video, but take my word for it, the screen here looks very, very, very pretty. And this is also a great opportunity to show the responsiveness and the speed that the Torch 2 has over the Torch 1. The pinch to zoom functionality is tremendous, and it works very, very, very quickly. This particular software build, the web browser is barely functional, so I can't show you a pinch to zoom there, but at least you can see it here on images. It just works very, very, very well. And that really is true about everything on the device, at least thus far in its pre-release hardware. It's much faster than we've seen on previous Torch 1s. Things work as you'd expect, especially from modern hardware. It's just much quicker, doing everything all the way through the device. So let's go ahead and look at some of the applications that are going to be on here. You can go ahead and see them all. If we jump into some further applications, I'll show you what else is going to come on the device. So we are now going to have Documents to Go. It's going to come pre-installed on all OS 7 devices. That was one of the new features. You're also going to have a compass, so you can do that if you want to figure out where you're going. You can see that now. Nothing overly exciting here, but I do want to show you what's going to come on the device. The camera is a 5 megapixel sensor. You can see that lives right there on the back, with autofocus and LED flash. And I'll show you very quickly what that camera is going to look like. The autofocus does work very well. Go ahead and open up the camera. Go ahead and we'll put a pen out there. You can see it. Let me move it back. And if we do a quick autofocus, see the camera will adjust. And I'll put some images up at the end of this video that show the camera and camcorder quality. This will also shoot HD video at 720p, a very nice addition. From a keyboard standpoint, it's exactly the same keyboard that we've seen on the Torch 1, so love it or hate it, it's going to be exactly the same. The key throw appears to be identical. It's a very comfortable keyboard to use. The rails on the side that was present on the Torch 1 are still there because, of course, this is a slider device. From a hardware standpoint and a build quality, it feels to be pretty solid. I don't have any creaking noises that I had on the Torch 1. When you go ahead and slide it in and out, you don't have any of that noise, and it looks to be pretty solidly built. On the left-hand side of the device, there's going to be your charging port. It's the micro USB standard. On the top, you've got your typical BlackBerry buttons. You've got your lock, and if you go ahead and push that, you can see the profile switcher will launch. All right, so now let's do a quick hardware tour of the device. On the left-hand side, you've got your charging port, and that's micro USB. On the top, you got those same buttons that we saw on the Torch 1, a lot of other BlackBerry devices, the lock button and the volume mute. On the right-hand side, you've got sort of that almost ribbed-looking volume up and down, and you've got a dedicated hard button you can set for whatever you like. Non-recessed 3.5mm headset jack. On the bottom, just microphones. On the back, you've got that 5-megapixel camera, and the camera there, LED flash. The battery compartment is exactly the same as we saw on the original Torch, and it is of size. Actually, I'll show you the size of it here. I believe it's 1,270 milliamp hours. That might change up by the time this actually hits production. Go ahead and pop that back in. The system is going to refresh, and that's where your expansion card is going to go. Your SIM card is going to slide right in there. Put the back on. It fits on exactly the same way as the Torch 1. The back is a little bit redesigned, so you could probably tell a difference between a Torch 1 and a Torch 2 out in the wild. Is there anything else that you guys want to see or know about the BlackBerry Torch 2? Be sure to let us know, and check out technobuffalo.com for all the latest and greatest tech news. I am John Rettinger, and I'll see you guys in the next video. To show you that this is indeed running OS 7, we'll go ahead and jump into Options. Scroll down to the bottom, and we'll go into Device. Keep scrolling on down, and we'll go to About Device Versions, and you can see right there that this is indeed running BlackBerry OS 7.